Where's Oleksandr Usyk, the rabbit? Hey, rabbit! Usyk! You're next, little bitch! You're next! You are next! Me and you, soccer, next! Me and you! You're getting it, little soccer! Rabbit!
No chance at Derek Chisora by beating him for the third time, and right after that he called out Oleksandr Usyk, who was sitting close to the ring, and challenged Usyk is an understatement. The Gypsy King took an extremely harsh approach to his potential opponent and let us all know that he wants this fight just as much as any boxing fan friends. Today's video will be a technical breakdown of the Fury vs. Usyk fight. Let's try to understand if the Ukrainian has any chance to displace the brash heavyweight king and become an undisputed champion. Please don't forget to like and comment in 4 words. Let's begin. Before discussing the technical side of this potential fight of the century, it is worth discussing the background of the competitors, and let's start with the challenger. As many of you probably know, most of his career Oleksandr Usyk spent not in the heavyweight division but in the category below. That's where the Ukrainian gained his loyal fan base and along with it the belts of all 4 major boxing organizations, becoming the undisputed champion. But even before that, Oleksandr had a fantastic career in amateur sport. During many years of amateur performances, Usyk won European and world championships, and in 2012 he even won the gold medal in the Olympic Games in London. This outstanding combat experience and perfection during his performances technique allowed the fighter to advance to the professionals successfully, and to this day no bitterness of defeat. Now it's Tyson Fury's turn. Hell, over the last few years, this prominent bridge has turned into a true superstar who single-handedly promotes the heavyweight division, and we must say really successfully. The Gypsy King knows how to draw attention to himself with his outrageous antics and surprisingly daring interviews. Challenging Usyk is nothing compared to what Tyson said to either Klitschko or Wilder, but all these trash-talking magic wouldn't have any value without big victories, and Fury has no problems with that. The list of the top veterans and even champions has been beaten or knocked out in a horrific way. Nobody could overcome the Brit, no one except himself. Mental problems had repeatedly driven Fury into a deadlock and made him idle or talk about ending his career. Just back in April, the Gypsy King left again, but now he's back to continue making history once more. Will he be here for long? I think we will know that after the great fight with Usyk. So how did the roads of these very different fighters cross? In fact, most of the talk about a potential fight between Oleksandr and Tyson began at the exact moment when the Ukrainian moved up to the heavyweight division and, to everyone's surprise, first demolished Derek Chisora and then destroyed Brit Anthony Joshua, who was supposed to face Fury. Why are fans so interested in this fight? First, the Gypsy King has already dismantled the entire heavyweight division, and he has even beaten some of them several times, like Wilder. A new face, and especially one as promising as Usyk, always draws a lot of attention. Secondly, and more importantly from the sports point of view, since the time of the great Lennox Lewis, there still hasn't been an undisputed champion in the heavyweight division. Yes, there were times when boxers managed to collect more than one belt. Vladimir Klitschko had 3 of them for several years, but no one has ever managed to win all 4. The winner of Usyk vs. Fury would qualify for the proud title of an undisputed champion of the world the first time in many years. So we're done with the story. Now it's time to look at what fighters are capable of and what they will use to beat each other. Technique. You know, there are a lot of guys in the heavyweight division who only rely on their knockout power, but that's certainly not the case with today's fighters. To be honest, we can Talk about Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk's technique for hours, but I'll try to be brief because many of you already know everything. The Gypsy King is a man who has stumped the best boxers of our time with his style, no matter how short or how tall his opponents were. Tyson would hold him on the comfortable distance for himself with his precise jab, and no one would be able to deliver their blows if the rival doesn't shorten the distance. Fury will eventually add a powerful straight hand, and with his punch he could score the knockout. What if the opponent gets any closer to the Brit? That's reckless. One of Tyson's main trump cards is the clinch, when he presses people with his huge body and doesn't let them take a single breath. After a few of those clinches, boxers lose all their strength and approach the Gypsy King next time they catch a terrible uppercut or hook with their faces, and then their bodies are sent to the canvas. Maybe try to pin Fury to the ropes and knock him out with a hell of punches. Unfortunately, they're Gypsy King's non-trivial defense and sheer movement speed makes it impossible to hit him. Even when he's pinned in the corner, it seemed that nature itself created Tyson to be the kryptonite to any existing boxer. Otherwise, why haven't they found the keys to him yet? And maybe the Ukrainian champion can do it. Let's take a look at what Usyk has in his arsenal. Oleksandr is a product of a slightly modified Soviet boxing school, or aspects of which he learned through training with Lomachenko Sr. All of Usyk's work in the fight is based on the movement of his legs. He has some strange resemblance to a Fury in this, but if the British fighter's footwork is understood only by himself, the Ukrainian style of movement is a long invented but nevertheless very effective, constantly changing his support leg. Oleksandr moves the body head, creates the right angles, and at a certain moment connects his sharp and very precise punch. It is very difficult to hit the moving head. On top of that, Usyk moves around and creates even more problems for his opponent. All of this allows the champion to almost never raise his hands to defend his head because he fully controls the cause of the fight, and most importantly, the distance. Knocking his opponents out is not Oleksandr's main goal, so he does not rely on his power, but he uses it a natural inertia and impulses of such active movements to throw his punches with the necessary speed and power for knockout. The fact that Usyk is a perfectly skilled southpaw is another advantage, making the fight against him a puzzle that no other fighter could ever solve in the boxing ring. What do we have in the end? Two geniuses in the field of footwork, with the perfect defense moves, who have never been beaten. Really, these are the kind of guys you want to see at the very top of the boxing pantheon. Endurance and mentality, and if we